everyone, and welcome to this episode of Libby's Low Carb Lounge. And today we are talking about Shirataki noodles. And you may be asking yourself, well, what in the world are Shirataki noodles? Well, these noodles have been around in Japan for hundreds of years and have been used in their diet. It's really difficult to find them in Japanese or Chinese restaurants here in the United States, but they are a noodle that is made out of a tuberous plant called the konjac plant, and flour is made out of it, and these noodles are basically used in many Asian dishes. Konjac flour is also called glucomannan, and it can also be found in some restaurants as referred to, or grocery stores that are Asian, as konnyaku noodles. But essentially, they are made from a tuberous plant that, although it's called colloquially a yam plant, it is not high in carbs like our yams. It actually is all fiber and zero net carbs if it is pure konjac flour. So basically, you'll see this referred to as, if you're in an Asian store, as yam noodles, shirataki noodles, konnyaku noodles, or glucomannan noodles. All these are synonymous names. So these noodles are somewhat rubbery in texture, and because of this, they are often mixed with tofu or chickpea flour to appeal more to our Western palate than the chewier noodles that are often found in Asian diets. So here are a few brands here that you will see more commonly: Miracle Noodle, House of Tofu, and Pasta Zero. If you are looking in strictly Asian markets, what you'll see is they're usually called yam noodles or shirataki noodles. If you flip over the package and you look at the nutritional information, they will say 0 or 1 carbs per serving, and there's usually 2 servings in each bag. If you pick up any noodles and it says that it is a low-carb noodle, but it has 20, 30, 40 grams of carbs per serving, you have picked up the wrong noodles. Now, these noodles have a couple of things against them for the Western palate, is that they are usually packaged, well, almost always packaged, in pickling lime, which is calcium hydroxide you'll see on the label. This will preserve these and give them a long shelf life. However, this causes the liquid in that packaging to have a somewhat cloudy appearance as it interacts with konjac flour. Then, no, that's number one, it's not very visually appealing. Number two, when you open the package, even though there is no seafood whatsoever in this package, the combination of konjac flour and pickling lime has an almost fishy seafood smell to it. So those are two things that go against the Western palate. Now, here's a way to get around that. First, you dump the noodles into a colander and rinse first with hot water from the tap for about 30 seconds, and then turn it to cold water for about 30 seconds. After that, you want to take a sharp pair of kitchen scissors and cut these into smaller sized pieces if you don't want really long noodles. Then the third step is you place in a hot, ungreased, nonstick pan on the stove on hot for about a minute, and you stir that with basically a wooden spoon or whatever spatula would be fine to dry out the noodles. As you are sliding them across the pan, once they get dry, they'll almost make a squeaky sound when they're dry enough. It takes about a minute to do this. After you have done that, these noodles are odorless and relatively tasteless and will absorb the flavor of anything that you mix with them. The bitter taste will be gone and the fish smell will be gone. And then you can use these shirataki noodles in any way that you would make normally pasta dishes. So with marinara sauce, olive oil or butter and garlic, in soups, whether they're ramen or pho or just vegetable soups, chicken noodle soups, pad thai. You can make Alfredo sauces, meat sauces, bolognese sauces, pesto sauce, stir fry with veggies. I have made all of these ways of using these noodles, and they have all turned out great by following the previous instructions. Now, here are some packaging brands that you may find in regular grocery stores, and usually where this is positioned, if you find any of these, is in the refrigerated section always next to tofus that are in the refrigerated section. That's where I've always found them in any store. Now you want to use your favorite low-carb sauces, or you can adapt your regular noodle recipes to make them low-carb by using Shirataki noodles instead of high-carb noodles. If you buy commercial sauces, beware, beware, beware of the hidden carbs. There are usually sugars in tomato sauces. You may just want to make your own and add stevia instead if you want to have that little bitter taste removed from the tomato sauce. Also, if you buy Asian sauces, beware of the carbs in those, and you may just want to use the spices to make them yourself. They almost always put sugar in Thai sauces, so you can generally make them yourself or get ones that do not have high carbs in them. If you check out our Pinterest boards, and the link will be toward the end of this video, or you can just go on Pinterest and do a search for Shirataki noodle recipes, you will find some very innovative and fantastic ideas on how to use these noodles. They're very filling, all fiber, and really have the texture of noodles. Here are some ideas. These are all taken off of Pinterest, basically in soups, curries. There's meatball and spaghetti, and those are Shirataki noodles mixed with tofu down on the right. There's pad thai on this screen top right. Here's some more dishes, more like a stroganoff. This little pizza is using a Shirataki noodle crust. There's also stir fries with salad down at the bottom. There's all sorts of ways to do this. Here's a shrimp dish, also a Mediterranean style. So now you've got a number of ideas on how to use these low-carb, all-fiber noodles to use instead of pasta. So you don't really have to live without pasta. This is one way you can have it. There are a number of other ways that you can have substitutes for pasta, but we'll talk about those in later videos. Now, just remember to use these noodles and not hate them. They're actually great if you do these things. Just remember, strain them, rinse them well, and drain them off. Cut them into smaller pieces if you don't want long noodles, and stir fry them in an ungreased hot skillet for about a minute to dry them out. Then there will be no lingering smell or taste from the pickling lime. Then they're ready to use. Lessons learned today. Shirataki noodles are a nice pasta replacement if you follow the instructions on how to prep them. Don't forget those steps or they will be from something good to something horrible. If you don't rinse and dry them, with that drying them, stir frying them on the skillet, they will still maintain a little bitter taste, and worse than that, will have a fishy smell from the pickling lime. You want to use your favorite low-carb sauces to use these noodles in whatever fashion that you might use noodles in the past. Soups, pasta dishes, Asian dishes, Italian dishes, stir fries, and any other way that you can come up with. They are extremely low carb, even the ones that are mixed with tofu. There's a brand that is mixed with some chickpea as well, and even the net carbs of that is 3 net carbs per serving. So still very, very low in carbs. If you were using regular pasta, you could add a 0 and probably multiply that by 2 for that same serving size. So extremely low in carbs. The other thing to remember about these noodles, other than having dietary fiber, they have no nutritional value if they're eaten by themselves, meaning they do not have protein, they have no carbs, they have no fat. So essentially they're just dietary fiber. They need to be eaten with something. And really, if they're eaten plain, they really have no taste. All right, folks, we'll see you next time on Libby's Low Carb Lounge, where we're always in search of low carb products to enhance our low carb lifestyle. See you next time.